Can you try it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nia, are you able to hear me?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
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 Yeah, sure. All others, can someone confirm from the presentation side, presenter side, audience side that are
Clear?
you able to hear?
This clear?
Yeah. Just speak a bit loud, please.
Hello. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you. and
Good
your
morning. My
presentation are
name
also-
is Nia. My name is Nia. Guten Morgen. Before I started my presentation, let introduce myself. I'm Nia. I'm doctoral student in mathematics education at Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. I wrote this article with my promoter, Professor Yaya Sukjaya Kusuma, PhD, and this article we wrote entitled Bibliometric Analyzing using RStudio 28 years or virtual reality research in mathematics teaching. And additional, I would also like to thank Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education (LPDP) for funding this research and conference. So, and the supporter is my promoter, Professor Yaya Sukjaya Kusuma and Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia and also Universitas Majalengka. And the background for this research is technology use has become the most important instrument and has contributed to the enhancement of teaching and learning in education. And nowadays, virtual reality application can be found of almost every field, including the e-commerce, video game, education, medicine, architecture, engineering, sport, and the other. And the field of mathematics education, VR or virtual reality, is often used in a variety of ways, including virtual museum, virtual teaching, virtual laboratories, and virtual campus. And his research of Huang 2019 showed that VR can be used effective to teach science-based information, including mathematics education. So the benefit of virtual reality in learning, especially mathematics, is to improve students able to display relevant information, the application or virtual technology and of information discipled. And then, although virtual reality is widely regarded as a potential learning tool in education today, there are still a few difficulties that must be solved. Education is frequently hesitant to absorb technology advancement, and school having difficulties integrating even basic computer skill, and also difficulties due to cost issue. And then, based off this background, I recognize to value using technology, save practical learning, and I'm interested to see how virtuality is used in education, especially mathematics education. Because mathematics is, excuse me. Yes, okay. Because mathematics is abstract concept, so virtual reality will help explain mathematics concept more concretely. So this is my background research, and then research method, I use the bibliometric data, and then I use a dimension for database, and then I use biblioscience from RStudio. So I use a seed keyword is virtuality and mathematics education. So this is result and discussion for my research. And the most relevant evaluation is from Utrecht University. But but during 1994 to 2022, Utrecht University has only written 8 articles. That is, there are still under 10 articles in 2008 years. And most citation, it is of the top 13 article, the highest number of citation is 308 of behalf of Kokot-Saki 2016. And then author productive overtime. Author production from time to time, no one has written more than 3 articles. If we look at the trend of article about virtuality in education, especially mathematics, it is only started to become popular in 2000 and 2002. Previously, only a few pieces were writing about virtuality. This may also be related to online learning that is sweeping that word. So using virtuality in education is an effective alternative for shaping learning objectives in distant learning. Most relevant journal sources, it is the International Journal of Emerging Technology in Learning. Is the journal that has published the most article of the use virtuality in mathematics learning. This is very relevant to the scope of the journal. And trending topic based of author keyword, it is, as I said earlier, the use of virtuality in learning mathematics will only become widespread in 2000 and 2002. So the trending topic based on author keyword in 2022 will be the student. That is mean using virtuality instead for learning mathematics to improve student understanding of mathematics concept. And virtuality in various fields is also widely used. The various fields, most of which are the human field, 11%. The researchers guess that the effectiveness of virtuality was first used in human-related fields such as simulation in medicine. So this conclusion for this research is the use virtuality in mathematics learning still need to be widely used. The few published articles can be opportunity for further development and study related to using virtuality in mathematics teaching. So this could be a great opportunity in developing virtuality in mathematics learning. That is my all presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Nia, for presenting. Yeah, thank you, Nia, for presenting such a wonderful paper. From the audience side, if anyone want to ask any question, any suggestion for Nia. Anyone from the audience side? Anyone wants to ask? My voice is audible and clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it seems there is no question from the others participants. So I have just few questions, not much, but I really appreciate the topic which you have picked, that virtual reality research in the math teaching, because generally students are they find math teaching really little bit of complex, but you are coming with a virtual reality research. So doing something in that field is really appreciable. Now, I just want to ask you, what are the keywords you have used for your paper?
I use keyword for this research is virtuality and mathematics education. So I
Do you feel the
11 article from dimension.
Okay.
Just for dimension.
okay?
Okay.
So on 11 articles, are you performing your actual bibliometric analysis?
No, 11. I said 1100, I think. 11,000. 1100.
Okay, we can. Okay, around 1100 articles you found. So just two suggestions there. One suggestion is maybe you can look for other database also like Scopus, Web of Science. So there may be some articles which you will also find, which will increase your number. So that will also add value to your paper. Second thing, in the terms of keyword, you can include some more keywords because virtual reality and mathematics, you may miss some of the important paper in that domain. Basically, if you use, maybe some author has used only math in place of mathematics or math education. So maybe you should look for some other keywords also so that you will get more papers and it will strengthen your paper. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Nia. These are some of the suggestions from my side. I hope it will be useful for you. So thank you for coming and presenting the paper. Thanks.
Thank you.
So in the starting, I forgot to tell that each presenter will get a 20 minutes time in which 15 minutes you have to complete your presentation and next 5 minutes for any question, answer or suggestion or discussion from anyone. So first paper is over. Now I would like to call the paper ID 4575. That is, the paper title is The Trend of ICT in Education for Critical Thinking Skills, a Systematic Literature Review. So I would like to call Lik and Darim to present the paper. You are present there in the conference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Great.
here.
Yeah, sure.
Just minimize this.
Yeah. Yeah, your slides are visible to us.
Yes,
Okay.
like this. It would be fine. Okay.
Okay. Before I thank you very much for your okay. Before I start my presentation, I want to say that what the right my name is Iik, not Lik.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Iik Nur Hikmayati. I am a PhD program student at Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Now I'm going to share you the result of my research with the title is The Trend of ICT in Education for Critical Thinking Skills, Systematic Literature Review. My article is the trend of ICT in education for critical thinking with my promoter, Professor Darhim from Indonesia too, but he's cannot to be here right now. Yeah. Oh, this one.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Before I start my present my article, I want to thank to BPI and LVDP as Education Fund Management Institute and Puslapdik as Education Financing Service Center Indonesia has support my article and my conference here. Okay, we start with the background of my article, my research. We know that in the current era of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, the various 21st century skills are needed to support the various activities in everyday life. One of the essential the 21st century skill is critical thinking skills, and critical thinking skill are the main foundation for thinking's balance, and we know it's needed for others, everyone in here in the world. And someone who has critical thinking can filter the information or data and make the right decisions based on evidence. And education, we know the student must have this skill because it helps to think logically and systematically to relevant data or information, and to draw the right conclusion, for the example, in problem solving. And furthermore, the use of ICT are grow widely following the development of information and technology. And ICT also supports students to improve critical thinking skills. ICT is also believed to improve various 21st century skills, such as critical thinking skills. And the main objective of my research is summarized in three research questions. The three research question is what the type, the first question is what the type of ICT are used to improve or develop critical thinking skills. The second question is what are the best strategies to use with the help of ICT to develop critical thinking skills. And the third question is what are the skills are improved and developed through the ICT use. And to achieve this goal, we use systematic literature review as a research method. And we can see the systematic review process with Prisma. There are 4 steps in a process with the Prisma. The first step is identification. With the step identification, it's recording by keyword, and the second step is screening. Screening that selection by inclusion and exclusion criteria. And the third step is eligibility. An article we must found by identification and screening is record screen based on titles, abstract, and eligibility criteria. And the last step is inclusion. And the last step, we record screen the article based on the entire content that is relevant. And the end of the process, we got 27 article is relevant with our research. Okay, we move the result of our research. We can see the figure show the distribution of countries where the research use of ICT for critical thinking skill, especially for the last 5 years, 2018 until 2022. We can see Indonesia is the rank first of the country with the most research on critical thinking skills through the ICT, followed by USA and Turkey. And there are 11 countries contributive of these objectives. This is the result of answer of the question, the research. What the tool or ICT technology media improve critical thinking skills? We can see the table there are 15 types of ICT are used in education to improve critical thinking skills, such as games, YouTube, video, aerial drone, and etc. And the fourth type of are Android, VR, AR, and coding in the most widely used type of ICT for improving critical thinking skills, especially in education. And this is the answer of the second research question. What are the best strategies to use with the help of ICT to develop critical thinking skills? And we can see the table is so there are 15 type of strategies or learning model to improve critical thinking skills. And we can see distant or online learning in the most used widely strategies to improve critical thinking skills, especially in education. And the other strategies the most widely used is um, programming teaching and followed by STEM. Okay, we can see the answer of the third of our research question. This is the figure solve that 15 other skills are jointly enhanced by ICT that together improve with critical thinking skill. We can see the problem solving, collaboration skills, creativity and innovation, and communication skill are the most widely skill is together improve with critical thinking skill in education. There are cognitive and affective skill are developed together with the skill with the critical thinking skills, and the affective skill such as learning motivations, self-efficacy, and another. Okay, the last we move to the conclusion with the three conclusion. The research finding on ICT trend in education for critical thinking under three report. The first conclusion is the trend of ICT for improving critical thinking skill in education include Android, VR, AR, and coding. And the second conclusion is the best learning strategy to improve critical thinking skill are distant learnings, programming teaching, and STEM. And the last conclusion is other skills that are enhanced along with the critical thinkings are cognitive and affective skills, such as problem solving is the most widely used to improve critical thinking skills. Okay, it's all what I want to share with you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah. Thanks very much for your presentation. Anyone from the participant wants to ask any question or any clarification? I think one question is there in the chat box. What ICT stands for?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, for what ICT stands for? Actually, in the paper title you have used now the trend of ICT. So what is the full of ICT? Full name of ICT. Yeah, you have used abbreviation.
All of ICT, all a tool of
Yeah.
all of ICT for improving critical thinking skills.
Yeah. So what does ICT stands for in the title? For what ICT stands for in the title?
ICT for what?
Yeah, what is the full form of ICT?
Full form of ICT.
So what is the full of ICT?
Information.
Information and communication technologies, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Information,
it's
communication.
ICT stands for information and communication technologies. Anyone else want to ask any question? Okay, so I have few questions for you. Can you go to the systematic review process slide?
Okay.
That Prisma.
This one.
Yeah, this one. What is this ERIC? You have mentioned one of the database, or you
Yes.
mentioned n equals to 462. Yeah.
Yes. I used to big database Eric and Springer, just two database because another is not relevant with our research, and Scopus. I'm not to access with it.
Okay. Scopus was not accessible to you.
Yes, I don't have to access it.
Okay. And what are the keywords you have used?
The keywords I use the critical thinking skills, education, and yeah, ICT, education and critical thinking skills.
Yeah. So here I just want to suggest you that in case of keywords, when you are using that ICT, there are different keywords which are synonyms for ICT, like information technology and others. So please, yeah,
I
please
use
consider.
yes.
Yeah.
I use another skills for ICT is technology and yeah, technology.
Yeah, technologies in education, technology, information technology. So please consider and please try to increase the database, because Springer and Eric, maybe you are missing some of the papers, because in the final conclusion, when you are when you are coming with the final systematic review process, you are using only 27 papers, right?
Yeah, right.
It the number is little on a lower side.
Yes.
Try to increase the number so that you will get useful findings,
Okay.
more useful. It will again strengthen your paper. Yeah, you want to say something?
Um, there are so many little the relevant article for this objects, this study, because it's special keyword for critical thinking skills. Just it's many it's so little uh, it is not much article that I have found.
Okay, no issue, no issue. Yeah, thanks. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. Yeah,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you very much for your question.
Yeah. Now, I would like to call paper ID 781. The title of presentation is Create a New Concept of a Computer Game-Based Scrum Method, a Case Study of Yamo City, the Legendary Adventure Games. So I would like to call upon the authors to please, are they physically present or they are going to present online?
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
physically.
on site.
Yeah, sure. Now stage is yours, please.
And should I? Yeah. Excuse me. Actually, can you see my slide?
Yeah, I am able to see the slide and your voice is also clear and audible.
All right. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ekalak Sangdanchai from Suranari University of Technology, Thailand. Today, I would like to present my research paper, Create a New Concept of Computer Game-Based Scrum Method. Case study of Yamo City, the legendary adventure game. The author of this paper is me and my professor, Assistant Professor Ratanachol Thienmongkol from University of Mahasarakham. We work across Mahasarakham University and Suranari University. All right. In this presentation, I will divide the subject into 5 phases. First, gonna be the problem statement. Second, gonna be research objective. Third, research method. Fourth, result and discussion. And fifth, conclusion and discussion. The problem statement start with nowadays there are many people playing video game. I'm sorry. Statistically show that more than 2 billion video game players are out of the world population of 7.6 billion, which account more than 1/3 of the world population. This is the reason why game have become one of the big tech industry in the world. All right. Next. And the computer game has a variety of ways to play to accommodate the need of different players. A role-playing game we call RPGs are one of the games that have been popular with the player since the beginning of the video game to this present day. RPG game allow player to have experience with the game both in terms of the game story and exploring various mission in the game by player himself. Many gamers like this type of game. RPG is the one of the most common game in the computer game industry. So many school or university nowadays include computer game design and development as the one of the subject in their curriculum. For example, in my university, in Department of Digital Communication Program at the Institute of Digital Art and Science, Suranari University, we have the series of courses related to design and development of game, the computer game. So the student who interested in development and design game will register to this course. So many people around the world are teaching about development and design computer game widely today. It is considered to emphasize the importance of game to the human in concrete way. But to development one computer game is necessary to use many skills in terms of creative talent, the coding skill, the design art skill include studying, understand user as well. In the development of computer game is also need a team to develop. So to develop the game effectively, there should be the proper development process too. And the Scrum method is a process that helps to develop something complex and easy to change during the development. This is concept that has been applied from the Agile method, which a work concept that emphasize results rather than the step of work, and bring people from many fields of work to work together as a team. The Scrum method is suitable as a process to make computer game and development as a team more efficiently. So for this reason, I am as the researcher see the opportunity to use the Scrum method as a process that helps to development the game. This game called Yamo City, which means Kolat, where the university stand. It's kind of like some city in Thailand, you know. So by using the pattern of the Scrum method for computer game development, I hope this paper will help people who want to develop game together as team effectively, or those who interested in apply the Scrum method to other form of work besides computer game as well. So the research objective of this paper, first, to develop the Yamo City, the legendary adventure 2D based RPG computer game by using Scrum method. Second is to study the satisfaction, of this game. Thus, the research method. In this research, I use the new Scrum method, as I call NSM. So the NSM is the apply method from the original Scrum method by adding specify the duty of work in each product backlog, the product backlog item. For clarity, the work with NSM in developing the game. So you can see we have the new Scrum method here, right? We have a product backlog and the product backlog item. In new Scrum method, I have at the job description, the job position, the job priority, and the job period that the team will assign for. In the early stage of development, the research team start with the sprint. The research team have held the sprint planning meeting, where all the members discuss the critical topic in the development phase, then put the detail in each topic into subtopic. According to the principle of the Scrum, the main topic we call the project backlog, right? This is the main topic. And in the product backlog, they have each subtopic we call product backlog item or PBI was prioritized in order to important for work and detail in the product backlog. So each day during the development period, the team held the meeting to report the performance separately according to the duty assigned by each member. We call this meeting the daily Scrum. So at each meeting, the member report on the progress of work. So if one of the member found the obstacle, they will help each other to solve the problem step by step together. So in the development period, we have the Scrum meeting every day. So according to the Scrum principle, a game design and development in the first sprint stage only sometimes complete every task on the PBI. However, after complete the sprint goal, which is create a playable game, the stakeholders have checked and examined what needs to be developed in the next sprint and update the product backlog to let the research team know what to do next in the design and development process to make the better game performance. And first, the result and discussion. In this research, as I said, the researcher has set the framework to developing the game according to the Scrum approach, which is the way to develop a complex and dynamic media. This is an ideal development process for game development. The researcher team has followed the principle of Scrum. At the beginning of the process, the main concept of game development was defined by meeting, and the research team set a game to be a role-playing adventure game and define the proportion of work according to the type of the work, job position of the development team member. And the duration and the priority of the work to set the product backlog table. In the product backlog table, they have 4 main topics as follows. First, the game concept. In this early stage of development, start from Scrum meeting to determine the style of game in various aspects, whether it's a style to play, a character control, usage pattern. After brainstorming idea to determine the key concept of the game story. At this stage, the game designer will lead the team into work to achieve the game story and content in the game. Designing game flow diagram to be used in the level design, which determine the level of playing to create the challenge for each player. It's also the team to see the whole picture together of the game and plan to work on the next step. The result of this step, the team has finalized the game design to be 2D based RPG computer game that give a player to feeling to be a character of the young boxer named Khao Sai Noise, and he has the adventure to complete the mission and solve the puzzle to find the great weapon to help to save the city of Yamo City or Korat from the evil spirit. So this is the plot of the game. It's a game story with the this game with a story about the adventure to protect the city of Korat from the angry or evil spirit of the young Korat boxer named Khao Sai Noi, which the development team, was inspired by the former Thai boxer named Khao Sai Noi as well, who became the world boxing champion, and he also the Korat native. So the second step of the project backlog is the game design. The process led by the game artist in design the game assets that will be used in the game development. The game artist study the game plot, game flow, diagram, and dialogue, and work with the game designer during this process. The process of designing game assets was done to achieve designing the base map of the game concept. After previewing some of the game assets, the team will conduct a Scrum daily meeting to review the overview of the game assets design to optimize the game assets later. The game assets will be export all of the game assets into bitmap file for game developer to use to the next step. This will work parallel with the game assets and game development together on this step. The result of this process will be the 2D assets, the style of pixel art, because it's suitable for development 2D game, and it can be created easily by use the program such as Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop. And also we have some program that help to create the time map. The time map is kind of like a block you can put in the game map or the world map. We use the program called Time, which is the 2D bitmap file as well. All right. The third step in the product backlog is the game development. We using the Unity engine. In this process, a game developer develop game by using Unity game engine because it's free to use under the condition. If you not make a lot of money, you can use as free as you want. The assets will be stored in the library in the Unity, and then source the game asset into the hierarchy in the scene. and then define the unique property in each game asset. If the game asset is like a player, you have a unique thing or the unique component into it. After that, the process will be defining all the game assets property. The game developer will link and set all the game assets, include the user interface canvas, which connect different scenes in the game. The result of this process, we will have the game that ready to play and ready to install on Windows OS and the Mac OS. If you use Windows OS, we will export into the .exe. And if you use Mac OS, we will export into .application. And the resolution of this game will set in the 1920 by 1080 pixel or Full HD, which are compatible for most computer monitor. And it will scale up if you activate the game immediately after you click it. I will show you later. And the fourth step of the product backlog is game testing and evaluation. In this process, we will have the sample to test the game on both platform, Windows and Mac OS. So we found the issue on the Mac OS because the screen is very high. Very high resolution than SPF. So the UI have like not work properly. So after that, we fix it by go back to Unity, and the game developer they some kind like light code to fix it. So we can use both Mac OS and Windows OS in this step. After that, we test the game with my student on the Department of Digital Communication of the sample of 100 students. So to measure the satisfaction of the game in the following order. So from the evaluation result of the sample of 100 people, the overall satisfaction of tester with the game at the good level. The mean score is the 4.06. The standard deviation is 0.81 in the good level overall. Okay. So conclusion and discussion. I found that making a computer game is a complex thing. This because it requires multiple skill elements, and it rely on the team member with diverse knowledge and ability in order to developing one game. It's also necessary to have the proper and efficiency process to work. The Scrum method is one of many ways to work on the complex tasks efficiently as a team. There are steps to operate that concise and easy to understand quickly. There is transparency in the work plan, and there is process of continually review the work done together in the team until the goal is achieved. It's also never ending. You can redesign after that. So that show opportunity for the further action if initial plan could be better for developing. So Yamo City, the legendary adventure 2D based RPG computer game, was evaluated and had a satisfaction at a good level. So we will improve it in the future if we can. And for the further research, we found recommendation that so we can learn from developing this game as follow. One is the first to use Scrum method. A Scrum leader is required. Scrum leader is a team master, or we call Scrum master, because the Scrum master must be able to advise the team immediately when they saw a problem at work. Therefore, having a good leader in the Scrum process is essential to ensure the smooth process continuously. Second, in the Scrum process, if the team find that the product backlog item is inappropriate for the product backlog topic, it is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to correct and notify all of the team member at the daily Scrum. This is really important. We have to communicate to work efficiently. The third, for the future game related research, the researchers are advised that it would be nice to develop the web-based instead of the computer-based, because it's easy to access. If you can just go to web browser and you can play the game. Instead, you have to install it every time. And that's it. May I show you the game for a little bit? Go. So just give me a second, please. Okay. This is the Mac OS version. So you can expand the game. This is the tutorial first. And then you can kick start. I don't know you have the sound. So this is the game. You can kick and view dialogue and go to adventure with the character Khao Sai Noi. And here the Sea Sawat is a Kolat cat, the unique one. And you found the monster. You can ride the buffalo to attack them as well. And then you found the dialogue and you explore the map. This is what we develop. And so we have fun with the developing game and hope this research will be useful for who want to develop game in the future.
Yeah, am I audible, Iklak?
All right. That's all. You
Am I
can.
audible? Yeah. Thank you for wonderful presentation. Even it took me to my childhood when I used to play that Mario, and when we were studying, we used to play that Age of Empire
Hey,
game.
I know that.
Yeah, so thanks. One question is there from the audience, that how long did this entire game development process took?
This entire game we use about 1 month for the first spin, and then we have like 1 more month to finish it, like you see in the sample game, about 2 months.
Okay, 1 month to 2 month time. Even
Yes,
I'm that much curious that after completing all these sessions, I'll go and have a one round of Mario, especially
All right.
after after seeing your presentation. I just, out of curiosity, I just want to ask one question. What are the other applications of this new Scrum method apart from game development process? What are the other fields where we can use this process?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, my question is, for developing your game, you have used a new Scrum method, right?
new Scrum method. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what are the other applications apart from this game development process? What are the other places this particular method has an applications?
I think you can use various method as well, such as design thinking or human-centered design or user-centered design as well. But the Scrum method is good because you can have the product backlog. You can see all of the work and the work detail, and you can add the period of the work as well. So you can choose anyway the team.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. I got your point. So thank you for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Now,
everyone.
many thanks. Now I would like to call paper ID 1982. The paper title is A Rapid Review of the Impact of Digital Distraction on Mathematics Online Learning. So I think they are presenting online or offline presentation. Krita?
And yes, me.
Yeah, okay, offline one. Yeah, please. Now the stage is yours. Yeah, your slides are visible.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in charge of my team. My name is Krida Singgih Kuncoro, and my partner is Bambang Martadipura and Aljubri. We are from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, Indonesia. I would like thanks to BPI and LPDP by Puslabdik Kemdikbudristek because this study was part of the project funded by Beasiswa Pendidikan Indonesia and LPDP from Puslabdik and Kemdikbudristek Indonesian Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. I will divide my presentation into 4 main part. The first is introduction, next is method, the third is result and discussion, and the last is conclusion. So my study come from the COVID-19 phenomenon, that the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak has significantly changed teaching and learning methods. I think it happened in every country, not only in Indonesia. And many schools are switching from face-to-face learning to mixed or online learning. And one of the innovation made by teacher is learning by utilizing mobile device in learning. But teacher in especially in my country, Indonesia, teacher face many difficulties organizing learning activities to increase student involvement during online learning. Several studies have stated that development of digital technology creates a situation where mobile device distract students during learning process. And what happened now is Indonesia in the 2022, Indonesia is in the first rank in average hours spent on mobile per day per user. And then it's maybe implicate to our student also that they more spend their activity with mobile device. This in this presentation, our objective is to inform you about digital distraction, and this research purpose is aims to explain the extent to which digital distraction affect mathematics class. This method we use in this our study is rapid review, and our main objective is to answer 3 research questions. The first is, what is the digital distraction? And second is, how does digital distraction affect mathematics learning outcomes? And the last is, what solutions are offered to minimize the impact of digital distraction on learning mathematics? So this is the result and discussion. We gather some study from Scopus database and ERICS. We held this study from February 2nd and 30 February 2022. And we have 55 study, and after we remove the duplicate, we get 33. And when we screening from the title and abstract, we get 20 that we will assess for eligibility. And in this study, we use that 20 studies. So digital distraction is mathematics. The focus and attention while learning from home and studying in class are different. During the online learning process, followed from home, students listen and take part in learning through their cellular device on laptop, and this makes their distracted with their mobile phone in their home. One of the causes of student attention being distracted during learning is social media notification, because Instagram, TikTok, it's the most popular social media in our country that student used to searching and maybe use social media. And students often use technology for entertainment, such as playing games or watching video, rather than focusing on learning. This happen during learning process. So how to mitigate to reduce the impact of digital distraction during mathematics learning in home? First, from several study, from 20 study, we had classify or identification how to mitigate the digital distraction. The first is provide rules and limits on the use technology during learning. And second is teacher can apply and use appropriate method to prevent digital distraction in the classroom or from home, and such as applying break interval to restore attention. Teacher also can give consequences for digital activities carried out by students that are not related to learning, and teacher need reduce the negative impact of digital distraction through engaging meaningful learning mathematics activity. And teacher can also need to pay attention in reducing digital distraction during mathematics learning in the level of difficulty of the test given. So more difficult tests given by student, student will have more attention to the discussion or the learning process. Teacher deliberately discussing the impact of digital distraction during learning on student will make student more aware and open to reducing it. So this is we draw the some conclusion. The impact of the COVID pandemic is genuine. COVID-19 had an unprecedented impact on pedagogical practice in mathematics learning, resulting in the need for change to meet the needs of current and future learners. Educator needs to change pedagogical skill related to the use of technology in the classroom. This study suggests several implications for further research, such as first, more effective pedagogical practice in terms of the technology involved in the classroom. And the second is the last is evaluation of preventive measures teacher can take to reduce digital distraction during learning. And I think that's all from my team presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for touching the wonderful topic. The first question from the audience, from the present attendee side is, for what your mobile first market stands for? Means, what is the meaning of this mobile first market? You have in this presentation, you have shown a slide. One image was there that Indonesia was #1 in terms of digital distraction from the student side. Can you go back to that slide?
Sorry, the
Yeah, this one only. So what is the meaning of here mobile first markets?
mobile first market spend? This come from data. I don't have any specifically what is the first market, but I have from this data I assume that Indonesia is in the first rank in average hours spent on mobile per day per user. So maybe this is this data used by some technology manufacturer to they can sell mobile device in Indonesia more increasing what is it maybe more effective than the other country. But from this we can see that most of people in Indonesia have spent on mobile device. It is more than 5 hours. Sorry, this is yes.
Okay, so thank you for your presentation and touching this wonderful topic, especially after COVID. Also, digital distraction is the most important topic. Thank you. Now I would like to call the paper ID 5806, Metaverse in Education for Students with Disabilities. I think Peter is there, or someone from this paper ID 5806. Am I audible?
We are here. We just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
take a moment to prepare, and
Yeah,
we
sure.
will let you know when we are done.
Could you please confirm, do you want to present it later or do you want, and just you are setting the laptop like copying and this slides? Am I audible? Am I audible to all? Yeah, Peter, are you able to hear me? Am I audible to, can someone confirm? Maybe type in the chat box or can unmute yourself and speak. Am I audible to all? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Megha. Peter, paper ID 5806. Can someone unmute yourself and speak? Paper ID 5806. Yeah, Peter, are you able to hear me?
Yes, so we just joined from my profile and I will share the screen just in a moment.
Yeah.
And then we want to have, oh, we cannot have notes.
No.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. So there, there. Okay, and just a second, I will. We have 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your slides are visible.
Yes. Just a second. Mm. Mm. So everybody can see here and everybody can see over there. We are muted over there. Now let's just leave it like this. And we should start the video. And okay, session chair, are we okay to start or are we too early?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
Please start.
So welcome everyone to our presentation, which is titled Metaverse in Education for Students with Disabilities. My name is Peter. We have Edward, Masaki, Jackie, and Kevin. And all 5 of us have worked on this presentation, which we are just about to give. But I would like to first introduce you to a context of what is a smart city. Now, there is a lot of definitions for smart city that you can find online, which don't define it concretely, but because this meaning of what is a smart city depends on the country, the cities, the people that you talk to, or the regions, right? But there is a couple of main frameworks which identify smart city, which is technology, human, institutional, or energy frameworks. But all of them, the whole idea of smart city shares a common goal, which is to utilize connectivity to improve the overall quality of life in the city. Now, How this can be done is by using the technologies that smart city can provide, which can be split into three main parts, which is sensors, connectivity, or data warehousing. The sensors can be something very simple, such as temperature monitors or pressure monitors, and so on. They are all connected over a network, which can be cellular or Wi-Fi, and the data that they collect is then stored for analysis that can then be used to improve our life in a smart city. Now, when it comes to all of those gadgets, when you have smart parking spots and so on, this is nice. But, you know, gadgets will not necessarily make the life better. And we wanted to focus on the human framework, which has main focus on people that live in the city, not the city itself. So we want to get back to the main goal of improving the life, and children and the future generations are the most important in our opinion. Now, how can Metaverse help in education is that it can connect the student or help the students learn and connect in an immersive virtual campus, and therefore enhance real world skilling and basically provide an environment where they will not experience the real world threats, because they can improve their skills in something that is plastic environment without getting hurt. And this is very important for students, especially those that have disabilities. The immersive environment offers them to, especially for those with autism and special needs, to have social interactions that can improve their interpersonal and job skills. And through VR apps, they can also practice skills to be again in the safe environment without any threats of real world. But also it can enable people to do something that they would otherwise not be able to do. For example, people with physical disabilities or students in wheelchairs to go places that they wouldn't otherwise be able to.
All right, so now at this point, we conducted a SWOT analysis to give a summary of the main points to consider when trying to implement this in the real world. So to keep this very brief, basically the main strength of VR is that it enables virtual experiences as an alternative to face-to-face or on-site experiences, whether it be because of the pandemic or for whatever reason. This in turn enables other benefits such as reduced transportation costs, for example, as well as long distance collaboration between schools pretty much anywhere around the world. VR technology is still in early development though, and one weakness that is still being addressed currently is how it may or may not benefit people with different impairments. Also within the context of Japan and an IZU, cultural attitudes towards disabilities as well as the aging population means that long-term viability of this project in Japan is still a bit uncertain at this time. So to go into a bit more detail, I first want to talk about accessibility design in particular, because I believe we believe it is an important point to consider if you want to bring as many people in as possible for Metaverse to play a role in Society 5.0. Current VR hardware, though, typically requires the entire body as input for interaction with the metaverse, meaning that those with physical disabilities are most vulnerable to being left out of these experiences altogether. There's also a recent paper that goes so far as to say current VR hardware is inherently ableist, quote unquote, for this very reason. Although there have been many workarounds that have been developed on the software side, VR hardware in the future has to adapt to the needs of each individual impairment so that everyone can fully participate in the metaverse without any issues. That being said, VR today already does provide some benefits when it comes to those with certain mental disabilities, as Peter mentioned earlier. For example, there is one study that showed VR helped improve for example, viewing patterns and nonverbal communication for those on the autism spectrum. However, those with schizophrenia, for example, have seen mixed results with improvements in improvements in conversational skills and assertiveness, but a decline in nonverbal skills. So it remains to be seen whether or not VR will actually be an effective tool for mass participation in Society 5.0. However, that shouldn't necessarily stop us from trying and actually testing it out for ourselves either.
And a project like this has actually already been implemented in real life by a local company. More about them a little bit later. In collaboration with Fukushima Prefectural Aizu Support School, Takeda Campus in Aizu Wakamatsu, Sukagawa Support School in Koriyama, and Support School in Fukushima. Throughout the last couple of months, we thought a couple of students and teachers from the Takeda campus about the virtual reality in general, but also about how it can be used to teach students with disabilities. Our main focus was on providing lectures to those from different cities separated by distance in one virtual place, which allowed us to overcome the physical limitation. The whole program peaked with a collective presentation from students of the Takeda Support School to the rest of the participating support school. This was only this Monday. So we actually don't have very concrete numbers to present to you today, which is a little bit unfortunate, but the schedule was pretty tight. However, we would like to show you a couple of pictures from Monday where we have implemented this. And we believe that the program was successful and are pleased to announce that the program will continue for another fiscal year from the April 2023. The principal of the Takeda School and teachers without whom this wouldn't be possible are in the audience here with us today. So thank you very much for letting us work on such a beautiful project. But even though the project was successful, we learned valuable lessons and identified where we have some potential to improve. Unfortunately, presenting the concrete metrics and numbers are outside the scope of this presentation, but the full results from an upcoming survey and full description of technology evaluation will be available in the published proceedings that will be available sometime later this spring. So I would like to invite you to find that article online later. Another important member to whom we would like to express our gratitude is ICE Japan, a local venture company created in 1995 by Junya Madara-san, and which provided technical support and generally implemented this project on a technical level. ICE is currently collaborating on this project with Takeda Support School, but also works on another projects that are related to medical technologies. And with partners from all across Japan. But back to our main project, to give you a short teaser about the potential future improvements that we might implement in the future, Masaki will tell them shortly in the future slides. So,
yeah, next we will explain about the potential improvements for VR education in the future. VR has some problems, not only technical problem, but also financial problem, because VR gadgets like VR goggles will be expensive, and these gadgets requires one for each student, so it can be difficult to introduce in some school. So to reduce the cost to introduce VR education, there are two technologies that can reduce this cost: cloud rendering and 5G communication. So cloud rendering is one of the technologies that is for the computer graphics. Usually, VR rendering requires a huge amount of computation because these rendering processes are executed on client device, like a VR goggles. So client device will be very expensive. But cloud rendering executes the rendering process on the server. So client only has to show the images sent from server. And these technologies can reduce the cost for the client devices. But client rendering requires sending a lot of data to the client devices from server. 5G communication can help to accelerate the client rendering. 5G communication has advantages comparing with conventional communications, like high speed, wide bandwidth, and low latency. So this technology is good to apply the cloud rendering. And these technologies can reduce the cost for client devices, and like we can use cheaper VR goggles or on smartphones as VR goggles.
Okay, and our introduction about the federated learning. We think one kind of improvement is by using the federated learning in this program, because if we need to know the student learning effect, or maybe to improve the student learning effect, we need to use the machine learning. So federated learning is a kind of a machine learning technology that allows multiple data owners to train their own mode without share the data. Why we need to use the federated learning is to training a mode, need to share to collect the data, but every school, every student's data are private, so we shouldn't share their data to each other or to maybe in lab or something. So by using the federated learning, every school can training their own mode by their own students' data, and they are generate to a public server, and the server will combine the whole models in every school. So it will be a more stronger models in a public server, and every school can use less models. How this work? It's like we have many school. They train their own data, train their own data, so they got a model. And every school has a public servers, and every school just submit the model, the final result to the servers, and the server will compute and to compare all about the models to each other's. Then we get a final model. So what the goal of the federated learning need to do is like to know every student, the study effect is good or bad for this technology. As we know, every student have a different learning speed. So maybe we can use by federated learning to give their own homework or some more something to do to improve their learning effect by this program. So
okay, in terms of feasibility study, here, as we mentioned before, we are already made a pilot program, as Peter mentioned, and we have pictures. We already did something in real life, but normally we need to start from doing a feasibility study to see if this is viable to doing in real life. So we start backwards, but also even though we got good results. In this part of feasibility study, we separated into parts: technical feasibility and financial feasibility. In technical feasibility, we need is the knowledge of the people who are going to teach to the students, and also the knowledge of the people who are going to create the virtual spaces.
and also the hardware that we need to use. Metaverse is evolving every day, so the tools and elements to go to the virtual reality are really cheap and are we can buy them very easy. And also the knowledge of virtual reality, we need two types of knowledge, basic one and advanced. Basic, if, for example, a professor wants to use a virtual space that is already implemented. So he's only go, for example, to virtual reality YouTube and use that is a space that is already done. And advanced knowledge if we want to create a new virtual space from scratch. In terms of financial feasibility, of course, we need a budget to buy all the elements of virtual reality. And of course, we need to hire engineers and educators to teach to the students. Normally, we need to do some pilots and case of studies to understand the benefits and challenges of the proposed systems. As we mentioned before, we have already did this, and we noticed that it's financial and technical viable or feasible, but we need to know if that is important for the students, if the students really are helping with this system. Also, we need to implement an evaluation method, and for the students and for us. For us, because we need to improve every day in our system, and for the students, because we need to know if they are learning and the curve are incrementing in knowledge. And that's why federated learning plays a good role in this part. Thank you for your attention.
So that concludes our presentation. And I would like to invite everybody or anybody from here and also online to ask questions. As I mentioned, the proceedings will be published a little bit later this year, and you can probably find answers to some of your questions over there. But there will also be correspondence contact. So if you have some questions later, then you can ask there. But I see there are some questions on chat, so if I may read them. Yulia Telatinsky, she asked, what is your experience regarding the wearing time of VR glasses? How long could the students concentrate? That is actually a great question, which I will kind of answer shallowly. We haven't measured it to be exact, to be honest. But for example, the segment that we had on Monday was about 2 hours long. However, there was a break in between, and also for one school that was in Fukushima, a lot of the students have they had to take turns because there was not that many headsets and a lot of students. So we took turns for about every 15 minutes. And but I believe that the presenters that were a little bit older than the students in Fukushima, they easily can stay in VR for about an hour, and then they have to take a 10-minute break, and then they can survive another hour. I hope I answered your question. I'm not sure if you don't have a microphone, if you are writing in chat, but yeah, if something, please write again. There's another person, Mart, sorry if I butchered this, but Schlosser. She asked, do you know whether children have a harder time with motion sickness in VR than adults? It really depends about which age we are looking at, how old are the children, and also if the adults are kind of tech savvy and have a little bit of experience before. So it's a little bit relative. But I would say that younger children or younger people will have less motion sickness than adults, because I think it's maybe just comes from the generation of computers. Because, for example, my father can't survive in VR. He will get sick immediately. Maybe it comes from there, but that's a great question. We will probably include in the metrics we want to measure in the future. So thanks for a nice suggestion, but yeah, I'm just going from experience rather than from concrete materials.
So thank you, Peter, for answering these questions. Just out of curiosity, I just want to ask one question, which is not majorly related with the presentation.
Mhm.
Some days before, I was reading an article. There, it was written that AI will compete with the human race. So there are positive and negative both the sides. So I just want to know your opinion on that.
So can you please repeat? AI will compete
Yeah.
with what?
AI will in the future, AI will compete with the humans.
Right. This is actually a great question. And I've been working with VR since the Oculus SDK 1, and I have been saying this since then. For me, why I like to use VR or why I think it should be implemented on a wider spectrum is not because it's supposed to replace the teachers. It's supposed to aid them. It's supposed to be a teaching tool rather than replacing. It's supposed to make the job easier. Because I don't think that even if we would have, you know, very immersive worlds, maybe you can take a reference to Matrix or something like that, where the teacher could be virtual. It could be, I don't know, the students could, as human students, could join a virtual world where they listen to Cortana in VR or in Metaverse, right? Or some other AI. But I don't think that in probably next couple of generations that will happen. But at the same time, if we look at how computers were in the 90s and how they are now, in the last 30 years, the progress was tremendous. So I don't know what will happen in.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, to have to think about this yet.
So thank you, Peter, for such a wonderful presentation. And I really want to congratulate you for picking such a really important topic.
I'm sorry, do we have time for one more question from the live, from the audience in person?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Can you show me slide 9?
Yes.
And when it's with one comment regarding motion sickness, I mean, motion sickness depends on the content. If you have a lot of motion, then you will might have more motion sickness. But if you have no motion, you will have no motion sickness. It depends on the application, so you can't generalize.
I agree with that. Yes.
And here's my question. You wrote for patients with schizophrenia, but hinders improvement on non-verbal. So what do you mean with that, and why does it here?
So the study that we took as an example over here, actually, I don't think I can formulate an answer that would be very comprehensive in the current setting. So would it be possible to answer your question a little bit later, over email or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Thanks, Peter, for such a presentation. Now, I would like to invite paper ID 5529. The paper title is Metaverse for the Revitalization of IZU.
Thank you.
I think they are also going to present the paper offline. Can someone respond from this paper? Can any author respond from this paper ID?
They are
5529.
on site.
Okay.
HDMI. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So you can just share. From yes. Yes, we can see the screen. Can you full screen it? Okay.
Yeah, your screen is visible and your voice is also clear.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hello everyone. Our research theme is metaverse for revitalization of Aizuwakamatsu City. And so we introduce the combination of metaverse and revitalization for Aizuwakamatsu. Okay.
I explain about Society 5.0. It is the Japanese government vision of a future society that integrate virtual space and real space. In particular, it aims to achieve economic growth and solve social issues through the use of new technology such as artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. It also aims to realize a sustainable society that takes the global environment into consideration. So why is Society 5.0 important? So, in current Society 4.0, there are many problems because sharing information and knowledge in many fields is not enough. So it is hard to get and analyze a lot of information ourselves. So, and the work and the scope of action are restricted due to disability and age. But in Society 5.0, we will solve this problem and develop the economy. So in our project, we will use metaverse technology to realize Society 5.0. So I'm going to talk about introduction of metaverse. So first of all,
Excuse me, could you please speak up a little bit? Very hard to hear you.
So in our presentation, the definition of metaverse is three-dimensional virtual space or the services, and the ability to enable users to make online communication more like real than conventional software like Zoom, Discord, and so on. So the reason we selected this technology is due to the market size. This market size is anticipated to expand extremely in the future. So it means the metaverse technology will be a common thing in our lives. So I talk about the metaverse, in which field the metaverse makes a contribution to Society 5.0. So according to this right figure, metaverse is generally divided into 4 fields. First is communication, online chat like VR chat. So second is entertainment. So video games like Apex and Fortnite. So and watching sports. So third is industry. So simulation like autonomous cars. So finally is the shopping is like try on.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic. This is about the problem that Aizuwakamatsu is facing. So as you can see the right figures, so the population and the number of tourists is decreasing. and these problems can lead to the decline of the city, and so example are labor shortages and difficulty in maintaining historical cultures. And so we think that our metaverse can help with these problems. And so providing the metaverse as a platforms, so for example, through example, and one is that so metaverse provided more exponential values by interacting with historical culture in 3D. And second one is that so since there is no geographical obstacle, so people from all over the world have the opportunity to visit. Yeah.
We conducted a SWOT analysis. The first strength is we can use the personal time and own space. And second, metaverse have a strong affinity with Web 3.0. And third, users can experience high quality virtual environment. Next is weakness. And high level knowledge and skills are required to developing metaverse technology, and developing cost is very high. And joining users is necessary to create metaverse environment. And the point of opportunity, first point of opportunity is metaverse is spread for many young people and creators. It is expected to spread this technology, and we can expect it to become new business form. And spreading metaverse technology by entering big companies. Final components is threats. This is first, this project is not common project. And second, legal restriction. And third, we could not find those many examples that using metaverse. And fourth, cyber attacks have problem to break this project basis. According to SWOT analysis, we considered positive and negative factors as below. Our strategies are this project have lower competitors, so we have chance to expand it. And lower use case and spread are solved by developing new businesses.
Then we introduce our literature. In March 2020, Volkswagen was scheduled to hold on motor show, but the motor show was canceled by COVID-19. So Volkswagen held online motor show. The participant could see the car and make a part of the car transparent to see the engine. Comparing virtual event and real event, virtual event can reduce cost by 80%. And in 2019, Marshmallow's concert was held in Fortnite. The concert gathered 60 million audiences. And the concert included the unique performance. For example, when he beat, it made audiences bounce up and disable gravity. Even 2090 technology can gather the audience and have a unique performance. 2023 or more technology can gather technology should be able to do more.
So when it comes to literature reviews, I studied this traveling in Japan as a metaverse smart tourism series development in Korea, published in 2022. So the reason is to solve our problem of decrease in tourist number from reading this smart tourist cities of this sentence. So in this is two methods are introduced. First one is a real-based metaverse. It's called AR in Cheon. In addition to conventional AR navigation services, so and then historical maps are used. So second is the virtual-based metaverse. It's called Incheon Craft. The Incheon cities is created on Minecraft environment, and then take place many historical event, and tourists can experience them. So these methods more attract people to take a tour. I introduce another research. This is a research on planning sightseeing tours with metaverse technology. Before sightseeing, we often use a search system with some keyword and check the place we would like to go. But this research is not existing search system. It's an exploring system in metaverse space. It can make users curious and raise their expectation. And so it is expected to be useful for the rise in the number of tourists.
This is an example that metaverse is used to simulate manufacturing operation. Metaverse will enable to manufacturing resources to visualized, analyzable, and auditable, and governed collaboratively by multiple intelligence. And metaverse simulation can reduce the cost for manufacturing and increase the production's value.
All right. From me, I raised the example related to the local regions, and in this slide show that Hagi City in Japan have exhibit hometown tax returns, which is resident can receive a tax reduction and return goods, and instead of donating to the local regions. And in this way, so visitor interacted with junk goods and more interested and increased to donatings.
Then we consider about possibility of metaverse for revitalization Aizbakamatsu. There are several historical buildings in Aizbakamatsu, so it is easy to attract tourists. If the users have an internet connection and device, a user can easily go metaverse, easily go to anywhere user wants. So it means user can save travel fee. And the metaverse market is expected to expand significantly in the future, and the ecosystem will grow with it. It is possible that metaverse can become common technology by entry of large company. And we expect that as metaverse become common technology, Aizbakamatsu can become revitalized. Then we conduct brief survey about metaverse using Google Form. Our questions are like that. We got 38 respondents.
These are results of question 1, 2, and 3. Most of respondents know about Metaverse, and Metaverse attracts them. But about 80% respondents have not ever used Metaverse. These are results 4 and 5. Almost all respondents answered yes about the question 4. And we can expect it. Metaverse contributes particular to sports and entertainment and networking and communication. This is result of question 6. The problem of beginning to use Metaverse is as showing figure. The biggest problem is difficulty of use. The second is low visual quality. The third biggest problem is no interest. The example of others are like expensive equipment and no sense of real touch.
Okay. In this sections, I'll discuss about the case of establishing a startup company in Aizu with Metaverse. And in our discussions, we focus on these perspective of feasibilities. So first one is technical requirements, and the Metaverse needed computing and artificial intelligence and networking and database, and high quality networking and database is needed in order to allow to access to the Metaverse, and AI can help with so navigate or translations. So and these technologies take a high cost, but these technologies are evolving and providing high quality. So the feasibility is increasing.
So in this slide, I talk about the importance of market analysis and building partnership. So market analysis means to analyze how much the market will expand in the future. So it is essential for the startup company whether to adapt to the technology. So second is building partnership. This means to build partnership with related companies, universities, local government, and so on. Even if the market size is large, but there's no partnership, in this case, the company is a little difficult to succeed in. So future perspectives for field. So it means to consider in which field the Metaverse is successful. If the company chose a field to start a new project, even though the field is not suitable for using Metaverse, so this causes company will fail in the aspect of revenue.
Conclusion. Aizu Wakamatsu has a problem that decreasing population and tourists. We consider how to revitalize Aizu Wakamatsu using Metaverse through them. There was similar literature from similar approach in our literature, and we noticed that many people expect that big Metaverse become common technology, and also we noticed that the barrier remains starting to use Metaverse. So if the barriers are resolved, Aizu Wakamatsu can be revitalized. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for presenting. Just one question from the chat box, that regarding the survey, did you collected the data regarding the age of the participants? In the chat box, it is written.
Yeah, me too. Ah, yeah, yeah. Around the risk average of respondents. Around about 25 age respondent.
Okay. Just one more question. What are your future plan of research, particularly in this contest?
What is your future plan? Future plan. Future plan.
Okay, no issue.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Just
yeah.
one point, Professor Cabra.
Yeah.
This was part of a one single class projects, and the students came together with diverse specialties. So they are not in the same specialty area. So this was part of a class project. So it's very hard for them to unify on objective. So sorry about that. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Now I can understand. Yeah. Thank you, Professor. So thank you for the wonderful presentation. Now, I would like to call upon the paper ID.
One more question, if you may please allow.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Let's assume we create Wakamatsu in the metaverse. And everything is beautiful, everything is nice, we can walk, a lot of people are coming. But how is Wakamatsu, the city app itself, earning money from it? I mean, where's the revenue coming in? For what?
I think something if I may answer this, I think something that we talked about in the class briefly is about promoting Aizu Wakamatsu as a tourist spot itself. So if you don't need to visit Aizu Wakamatsu, but if it's on the metaverse, you can see what are the places, what are the services offered, what kind of businesses thrive here. And that itself is a promotion. And that service itself can be purchased by local businesses to promote their own niche area, own specialty in the metaverse. So first you create a metaverse for the entire city, and then you create a metaverse for those types of services that are offered. So that is one way that we talked about in the class, is a possibility for the future.
The important thing is that people visit Aizu.
People will visit Aizu if they find that it's convincing, it's persuasive, then they will think about. So metaverse itself will create an experience for them. And if that experience is good enough, then it will be a promotion. So it will be solely used for promotion. So that's what we talked about.
And then we have to spread the cost again.
About the concert, do you know who performed at the concert with the 60 million people? Who was the singer?
Marshmallow.
Oh, okay.
Do you know?
No.
But I don't know. I also, I'm not sure. But he may be an American singer, DJ.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Professor Cabra. You can take over.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. So now I would like to call paper ID 2728. The title is Behavioral Based Real-Time Cheating Detection in Academic Exams Using Deep Learning Techniques.
Yes,
Now
I'm
over
here.
to you, Medha. Yeah.
Yes, let me share my screen. Good morning, everybody. My name is Medha, and I'm a research assistant working at the United Arab Emirates University. So I'm here to present my paper, that is behavioral-based real-time cheating detection in academic exams using deep learning techniques. I have pre-recorded my presentation, and here you can find. I think everything is clear and audible, right?
Yeah, it is clear and audible.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
We all agree that AI technologies are interfering greatly in our daily activities in recent years. So AI technologies such as Google Maps, Google Assistant, YouTube, and Siri have become integrated into many aspects of our lives. So they are used for navigation, search, entertainment, and even for our personal assistance. So these technologies use advanced algorithms and machine learning techniques to provide personalized and efficient services to users, which has greatly impacted how we interact with the technology and has made many tasks more convenient. Now, AI-driven social media such as Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are interfering closely with our life. So they even are changing our social life. So, and I'm sure that this is also a fact that most of you may agree with me. So we are more connected to these social media platforms that we are connected to people around us, and number of daily active users on these platforms can easily prove this fact. So, Facebook reported approximately 1.62 billion active users visit their site daily, and overall daily active users accounted for 66% of monthly active users. And for Instagram, 500 million daily active users. And in China, TikTok is accessed by over 600 million people. And therefore, some medical associations showed a warning about social media addictions. Now, the question is why people are addicted to AI-based applications. So, what is unique about it? So, according to some studies, we found that such social media platforms simulate the reward circuitry in our brain, which mainly gives us platform for being happy and to become more satisfied. But why is that? Some of the reasons of that is most of these social media platforms are using varieties of AI algorithms that are enforced by understanding you and act based on that. The reward of these algorithms is to keep you online. So it basically understands you and knows your interests to show you what you like to see and what you like to read. So it shows you an immediate reward of your accomplishments. So social media lets you talk about yourself with less judgment from the surrounding, leading to stress relief. And finally, social media enables you to feel that you are unique and give you a special attention. Now, where I want to go from this introduction. So, we are trying to carry on such experience to the educational system, starting by the classroom. Getting into the topic, what are the main reasons for cheating? So, cheating is a prevalent issue in the higher education, affecting the efficiency and productivity of the students graduating. Some of the factors affecting are laziness, fear of failure, inadequate preparation, lack of facilities, and lack of qualified teachers. Next, what are the examples of cheating? So some cheating methods include storing scraps of paper with answers written on them, writing on one's hands or other body parts, swapping answers papers or answers written on the question papers, communicating with one another using sign language during objective type tests, and many more. So regardless of the reason, cheating is detrimental to the learning process that can lead to negative consequences. Traditionally, exams are carried out in a classroom or a hall and overseen by an examiner at all the times, which is time consuming and laborious. In classroom examination, the invigilator identifies the students cheating by their visible behavior, like passing paper or using a phone. However, if the human proctor goes out of the exam hall or turns his or her back, all the possible cheating could have happened. So there comes the need for automated assessment in such scenarios where the invigilator will not be able to identify the cheating happening in the educational examinations. The proposed system, that is the proposed cheating detection system, is designed to detect any possible instances of cheating during the examination, and to keep an eye on each and every student. Also, it tracks the students. Then it is an it saves instructors time and effort for invigilating the exams. Then the main thing is that the particular cheating detection system has a facial recognition feature, and if the student is cheating, it will automatically alert the instructor or whoever the authority is that this particular student is cheating based on the action or the behavior which the student is particularly showing at the time, and it automatically marks attendance, which will save a lot of time for both of the instructor and as well as the students, so that they don't have to wait until the instructor is calling their name, or they don't have to wait until the instructor, you know, if they are taking the numbers 1 2 3 4 like that. If the student is of number 30, they don't have to wait till that number, they can concentrate on the exam. So in both case, for the student as well as the instructor, is a time reduce, I mean, it won't take much time. Okay. The proposed system consists of a web camera connected to a computer that performs calculations based on a trained YOLO V7 model and displays results. So a webcam is installed at the top of the examination hall, which records real-time videos of the students as they take part in the examination. So webcams deliver real-time video and detect cheating behavior with the help of AI models, the use of AI models throughout the examination. The camera is positioned at the top of the classroom, facing every student and capturing the entire classroom. So the video is fed into two systems, that is an action behavior detection system, and the other one is a student recognition and attendance system. So the final module has the output, which presents the student attendance report and the cheating detection report. The work divides cheating actions into two, that is cheating and no cheating. The cheating category contains behaviors like turning back, looking at somebody else's paper, exchanging paper or any other object, using mobile phones or other prohibited objects, and showing gestures. The no cheating category includes normal behavior, which also contains like reading, writing, thinking, and just regular. This kind of actions will be categorized as no cheating. And additionally, the proposed work tracks each student individually throughout the exam process. Real-time updates are made to all details, which are saved in the system with timestamps. So video recordings are not made as students' privacy is respected or concerned, and the data is saved only in the numerical and categorical forms, not as a video files or photo images, nothing. It's saved as a numerical and categorical forms, and the invigilator and the authorities will be notified in real time if any potential cheating occurs. But one great thing is that even after the exam, if after the evaluation process, this instructor or the authorities will be able to check the data which is already saved in the system, so that they can make sure that the student has cheated or not.
The cheating actions displayed by the students will be detected based on the model trained on custom datasets. The collected dataset of students' cheating actions is trained using the latest YOLO v7 algorithms. We know that the YOLO v8 is also released, but at that point of time, only YOLO v7 was released. So we used that particular algorithm, and we collected the data set using several methods, just like we used Google, we used Bing, and we used image repositories like deposit.com, etc., for finding the images with classes, this particular classes. And as a next method, we ask students from the university to post like they are cheating, and we click the images and put them for training. And another method was we asked some more students to sit inside an examination hall and ask to post like they are cheating, and we recorded the video this time with their permission. And this particular video is classified or segmented into several images, and from that images we only took the best ones for training. So after collection of dataset, we then went for labeling the images, and for labeling purposes we used software which was downloaded from the internet called Label IMG, and we labeled it manually uh, and put them for training. And before that we received like we collected 1185 images, but it was sure that for training a deep learning model we need more and more images. So from our side we augmented the images using RoboFlow and collected around like 2565 images, and that images are put for training. The performance of the cheating detection model was evaluated using an MAP score, that is mean average precision score, and at 0.5 the model generated an MAP of 0.719. And talking about the individual MAP score, no cheating category had an MAP score of 0.757, and cheating category had an MAP of 0.682. After training and performance evaluation of the model, we integrated the model to the entire system and we tested the whole system. The system was tested on 5 students to determine how well they worked. So as a part of the testing process, an examination hall was set up to test the system's overall performance, as I mentioned. And the students were told to write the exam and also to perform some cheating actions. So in this slide you can see these are a particular screenshots from the video which we recorded of running the model. So if the student is cheating, then there is a bounding box. Student is cheating or no cheating, the bounding box is there and it shows the particular no cheating or cheating category, and it is clear from the figure. And the details are stored into the system as well as to the cloud. So while saving the data, each student's name will be there because we used a facial recognition technology there, and in the data in the CSV file the student's name will be there, then the cheating action also will be there, and the time of cheating. So all these data will be there and it will be alerted to the instructor. And
can you try to
yeah,
complete in
so
next
as a result of
2 minutes?
this feature, yes, so the it will be authorities finished by can the time. check the exam integrity even after the examination is over, or if any student is complaining about their mark, the authorities can check and tell them that at this point of time you have cheated, or like it's everything is there. So this is one of the greatest in aim to develop a cheating detection system that is based on deep learning techniques with the goal of improving the academics in variety of ways. And the system
the system can detect students engaged in cheating activities in real time, and an alert system is also used to inform the authorities. So overall, this particular system will help the institutions to automate their manual attendance system during the examination, and the system will also facilitate the instructors while monitoring or invigilating the exams. So in the future, we are planning to add more and more data and to use a better model to improve the accuracy of the system. So as I mentioned, we only had a limited number of data. So we'll try to add more and more, and we'll better the system. So that is all about our project and our work. And thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please do let me know.
So thank you, Medha, for such a wonderful presentation. If anyone has any question, please. Only one question, quickly. If anyone has any question. Okay, then no questions from audience side. So I just want to ask one question. In the classification of cheating and no cheating slide, you have mentioned that if someone is taking some object, it will be considered as a cheating, right?
Like the prohibited objects, only prohibited objects. Like,
then how your system will differentiate? Let's suppose if someone is taking a pen, or like if we talk about a student, someone is taking pen, pencil, or something which is useful, scale and all. So
yeah.
will it able to detect? Yeah.
No. See, we have only considered the prohibited objects like the smartwatches, then mobile phones, all those kind of things. We didn't consider a pen, pencil, scale. Like we didn't consider that, so it will not detect.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now I would like to call paper ID 3090. The paper title is Exploring South Korean University Students' Perception of the STEAM Program and Their Contribution to Learning.
Good morning. Can you share the screen?
Control is with you. You can share this.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm talking to my co-author. I'm sorry about that.
Oh.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Huyeon An. I'm from an assistant professor at KAIST in South Korea. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to come and listen to this presentation. Here we have Haeyoung Kim with us, and unfortunately, Sun Young Shin from Indiana University could not make it to this morning, but we'd be happy to share any of the feedback that we get at the end of the presentation. I do have to let you know that this presentation is still work in progress, so any of the feedback that you have is very much appreciated. We also, for this particular study, what we aimed to do was to explore South Korean university students' perceptions of the STEAM program and their contribution to learning. And we hope to understand how they envision the potential of the STEAM program and their learning trajectory. I think due to time limitation we might have to run through a quick, very quick, but at the end of the presentation, we'd be able to answer any of the questions that you have or via email as well. So with that said, let's go to the next slide. So STEM in the globalized world is appreciated very much nowadays, especially alongside the development of technology as well. So alongside the need for a well-rounded citizen in the 21st century, students are expected to cultivate integrative knowledge, higher order thinking, creative and innovative ways of learning, and thinking skills through education. And with that, collaboration across disciplines with collective and creative intelligence is viewed as a way to solve the multifaceted global issues for the development of society in the current era. And regarding the emphasis on STEM, South Korea is no exception to it, as we can see how it is emphasized in Korean education. So the next slide shows, before we move on to the next slide, to describe more about the details in Korean society. I mean, can we show them the Yakman? Yes. So Yakman 2008 has provided this understanding of the pyramid, the visual image of a pyramid, and what STEAM basically includes. So we can find that it includes different disciplines, including science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and arts. And the underscoring idea here is that it continues lifelong, it's lifelong learning. It's not just something going to be that's temporary, but it's how people make connections between different disciplines, different contents, and making it become a part of their life. So with that understanding, moving on to the next slide, we can find that STEAM, it takes place nowadays, especially in South Korea. It has started in 2011. So in an effort to reinforce the workforce in STEM while addressing global issues, integrated STEAM education in South Korea that promoted the integration of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics education was first announced as a nationwide policy agenda in 2011. And ever since then, we have been able to find a lot of programs that emerge, not only in K-12 education, but also in higher education nowadays, especially. Also referred to as convergence in South Korea, we use the word convergence similarly. STEAM in South Korea highlights and emphasizes the creation of new ideas, practices, and products through interdisciplinary thinking. And underscoring this is the statement from the Ministry of Education, which provided that with the imagination from humanities and creativity of science and technology and good personality, we view that a person, a student, essentially a learner, can create new knowledge and new values by combining these various knowledge. So with this understanding, this particular study hoped to, can we move on to the next slide now? Understand the STEAM in Korea, especially regarding the 4 C's, the 4 core competencies. They include convergence, creativity, care, and communication. So it's not just converging of the knowledge, but you can actually find that it involves the skills and abilities and aptitude of these learners as well. Going more deep into the 4 C's, we can find 13 core competencies, which include a lot of the problem-solving skills. So mainly related to the thinking skills, problem-solving skills. A lot of has to do with the digital skills, and the production skills. But you can also observe the communication and care, patience, and collaboration. So with this understanding of the 13 core competencies, this particular study aimed to understand how the Korean undergraduate students understood the use of their previous or non-existent learning experience through STEM. So moving to the next slide. So in an effort to better understand the current state of STEAM education in South Korea and its potential, we aim to examine the 13 core competencies of undergraduate Korean students following the education goals described by the STEAM. So we use these core competencies and we use them as a part of our questionnaire. So the next slide. So the main data collection was a questionnaire survey. We had 600 participants who I'm going to describe a little bit more in detail very soon. For the data analysis, we used both the descriptive statistical analysis and inferential statistical analysis. So regarding the participants, moving to the next slide. So we had 600 in total. They were all into their 20s. We had 230 male students and 370 male students. They were all in their junior and senior years because we wanted to observe whether they have taken any of the courses, STEAM courses, during their freshman and sophomore years. The academic discipline, we had an even number of 200 for each. So 200 engineering students, 200 humanities students, and 200 natural sciences students. So now let's take a look more into the questionnaire. Next, please. So there were basically four different types of questions. One had to do with the social demographic. The second one has to do with the STEAM experience. Third, whether they are taking the undergraduate STEAM learning experience or not. Finally, the fourth one has to do with the previous experience, previous learning experience. Some of the example questions are listed below. For instance, socioeconomic or social demographic might ask them like what their how old they are, where they reside in, for instance, and also what their majors are. Moving on to the STEAM-based has to do with like, I think the collaborative process is important. It came from one of the core competencies that we have talked about. They had to answer using the Likert scale, and whether they had any of the previous experience of participating in the STEAM progress before during their undergraduate year and the K through 12 years. So now we are going to talk about the findings. So Haeyoung, can you take over now? You're muted right now. Yes.
Yes. First of all, we want to find how many students had experience in university STEAM program. Among total 600 student participants, 37% of them took STEAM in college. But as many of 63% students did not taking STEAM program. This indicates that many of the college students did not know well about STEAM program, meaning that a STEAM program were not properly nor widely advertised or informed in campus. When looking into the college STEAM experience, the next graph, according to 3 different academic disciplines that they measured in, all groups showed a similar percentage, but students in humanities were about as slightly as 2% higher than the other academic disciplines. We want to look at the association between students' previous K-12 STEAM experiences and the college STEAM participation. The results show that when you look at the last graph, over 40% students in college STEAM also had already a STEAM experience in high school. As far as the percentage of K-12 schooling STEAM experience in general, high school was the highest, followed by middle school and elementary school. And students in humanities were satisfied with the STEAM program. Students in natural sciences and engineering department. But when considering the point 4 and 5 agree and strongly agree together, the students' satisfactions in humanities were slightly higher than that of the other groups, and percentage of the other groups were almost the same. The other group means the natural sciences and engineering. Somewhat opposed to this result, more than 7% of the students in humanities also responded that they were not satisfied with their experience in STEAM program, and students in natural sciences showed a similarity to humanity in terms of dissatisfaction percentage, which is contrasted to the result of students in engineering department. What was interesting for the engineering students is that they were the group that responded to strongly satisfied with the STEAM program the most, with the 7%, but none of the students in humanities showed a strong satisfaction. But at the same time, response to neither satisfaction nor dissatisfaction were selected the most by students in engineering department, with a 5% gap with natural sciences and 9% gap with humanities. Slide 14 and 15 are about the students' intentions for participation in STEAM program in the future. The first graph showed that there were relatively difference in STEAM intentions in the future among academic disciplines, especially between engineering and humanities. We found that majority of students in engineering, about 89% of them, responded that they want to learn computer skills. This finding aligns with the survey finding, indicating that students in engineering on average had greater ability to use digital computing and AI skills, as well as more likely to choose computer, digital, AI related career paths than those in other majors. A number of students in humanities and natural sciences, about 64% respectively, also showed an aspirations to learn computer skills. However, small number of students in humanities and natural sciences had no interest in learning computer skills. And this was especially observed for students in natural sciences, which is about 10% more than the other groups. The second graph shows that regardless of the college STEAM experiences, students want to learn computer skill, and the percentage of them were pretty high for both groups. But students who were in STEAM program in college were more likely, about 9% more, to learn computer skills than those who were not in STEAM program. When you look at the students' aspirations to learn computer skills, according to their academic discipline, for all of the three academic disciplines, students' intentions, it was swapped, but intentions to participate in the STEAM program were more than 50% in each three groups. What follows was the response of not sure, with a similar percentage across the three groups. The highest was humanity, and the least was engineering, with about 5% gap with students in humanities. The graph was changed the previous ones. Okay. Sorry for that. Students who had a previous STEAM experience showed much more intentions to continue to participate in STEAM experience, STEAM programs than those who didn't. For example, 60% of students who are in STEAM program generally intend to continue STEAM program in the future. But only 36% who are not in STEAM showed intentions to take part in STEAM. We can see that they differed considerably. In the same vein, unlike students in STEAM program, nearly 36% not in STEAM had little or no intentions to participate in STEAM program. It seems to indicate the positive impact of STEAM experience on students' continued interest. Slides 17 and 18 are the result of t-test and f-test. The result is going to be discussed in next slide. So there are 5 points in our discussion. The first, majority of students who are in the university STEAM programs were satisfied with their own experiences, and students in humanities were slightly higher in number than the other academic disciplines. In general, students engaging in STEAM programs during high school seem to positively influence the students' interest and actual participation in STEAM at the university level. And students in university STEAM programs were more likely to learn computer skills than those who are not in STEAM program. There were statistical differences based on t-test between students who are in university STEAM programs and those who are not, in terms of certain competencies. And based on the f-test, there were no statistical differences among 3 groups of academic discipline in terms of core competency in STEAM, except 2 competencies, which were ability to use digital skills and career choice in digital, computer, and AI career, AI.
So finally, to just wrap up, we to the future of the future research in order to gain further insight into the future directions of STEAM education. We thought that an additional interview component would be important with the participants that could actually yield deeper insights into their underlying beliefs and attitudes, and also their motives. We also thought for the next research, and we are also already have collected data to look into what the people in the desired job market. So think of the STEAM program. So at the very beginning social demographic questionnaire, we also asked the students of their desired intended goal. So after they graduate, what they would like to become and how useful they think that the participation in STEAM program would be in getting their desired job. And we wanted to see how there's a mismatch, whether their perceptions of the possibilities of the STEAM programs are met and realized or not by those who are already in the job market. So that's it for our presentation, and we'd be happy to answer any of the questions that you have or any of the feedback. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, professors, for completing the presentation on time. And is there any questions from anyone? Okay, I guess no questions are there. So I have one question, that what did you find any difference between South Korean university student and the perception of rest of the world regarding this STEM program?
I think that's a very important question because we haven't been able to do that yet, but I think that's actually a possible way to move to the next step by comparing how there could be cultural differences. There could be definitely differences depending on where you are. So I think that's the next step. That's another next step that we'd be able to take, but we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Ann and Kim. So moving on to the last presentation for this
Thank
session.
you.
Paper ID is 2481, and the title of the paper is Multimodal SEMG and Speech-Based Design and Evaluation of a Low-Cost 3D Printed Prosthetic Hand. So over to you, paper ID 2481. Yeah, your slides are visible.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yamato Saiko, and I'm a member of the Adaptive Systems Laboratory in this university. In today's presentation, I'll give you an overview of my research. This is outline. I will proceed according to this outline. To begin with, I'll talk about the introduction part. There are 82,000 upper limb amputees and 444,000 people with functional disorder of upper limb in Japan. It's also reported that approximately 80% of upper limb amputees use some type of prosthetic limb. Hence, many people are in need of a quality prosthetic hand. Myoelectric processes feature operation by the electricity generated when muscles contact. However, there are three significant problems with myoelectric processes. The first is very expensive, the second is limited availability, the third is required regular maintenance. In this research, a low-cost prosthetic hand with multimodal SEMG and speech reinforced control is proposed to solve the first and second problems. Low-cost prosthetic hand is to be achieved by mounting a low-cost computer such as a single board, like a Raspberry Pi, on a 3D printed thing. Furthermore, the aim is to expand the range of operability by making it multimodal. This research creates a convolutional neural network model to classify speech for prosthetic hand control. The SEMG classifiers uses the model presented last year by me. They are implemented on the Raspberry Pi and the processing time is measured. This is my research goal. Oh, sorry. My research goal is to design and evaluate a low-cost prosthetic hand with multimodal sensor, SEMG and speech sensor. The first is to study accuracy of CNN model for speech and SEMG classification. The second is to design the prosthetic hand and to investigate the processing time. A brief overview of prosthetic hand hardware and software will be provided. The prosthetic hand is created with 3D printer and has 5 joint degree of freeze, so 4 fingers and the thumb. It is controlled by Raspberry Pi, and this Raspberry Pi has two sensors. The first is SEMG sensor and second is speech. The classification is performed using convolutional neural networks. This part is a detailed description of the hardware. This prosthetic hand consists of a 3D printed prosthetic hand, input devices, which are Myo armband and microphone, Raspberry Pi, and 5 servo motors. SEMG and speech data are input by Myo armband and microphone. The software implemented in Raspberry Pi then classifies and recognizes the input data and controls servo motors. This part is a detailed description of the software. 2 CNN-based software that classifies SEMG and speech are used to control the prosthetic hand. The software has a sound threshold. Therefore, if the sound data is input above the threshold, the system for the sound data is activated. If no sound data is input or below the threshold, the system for SEMG data is activated. After the CNN system output the classification result, the motor control system works. From this part, each classifier is explained. The first is SEMG and next is speech classification. For the SEMG classification, the model I created last year is used. This model can classify from 0 to 5, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In other words, 6 patterns of classification are possible. And accuracy using testing data is 93%. Next is about speech classification. Speech classification was created for this research, so I will show the method and evaluation and results. They are described in following order: data collecting, data processing, evaluation, result. For speech data set, for speech classification, speech command data sets, which are released by TensorFlow, are used for training and validation of speech classification model. There are 108,181 sound data sets consisting of 35 words and the silence, 6 background noises, which are sampled at 16 kHz. Words and silence in a maximum of 1 second record time. In addition, 6 words and the silence are adapted as a label for classification because SEMG model has 6 labels. So the other words are processed as unknown and as a single label. So the level are unknown silence and 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is procedure of data processing. The first is that data sets are divided into training data and validation data and testing data. The second is all data is converted to numeric data or float. And the amplitude is normalized from 0 to 1. The third is numeric data size is converted to 1 by 16,000. And finally, numeric data are converted to log-mail spectrum. Let me explain a little about this log-mail spectrum. Log-mail spectrum is one of the speech features that take into account human ordinary characteristics. It's calculated by dot product of short-time Fourier transform and mail filter bank. Horizontal axis represent time, vertical axis represent frequency, and amplitude represented by the darkness of a certain frequency at a certain time. Low amplitudes are represented by dark blue and very high amplitudes by dark green. And the next section describes the CNN model for speech classification. Able yeah, usually 20 run to 100.
Everyone is able to hear the voice? I'm not able to hear the voice. Yamato, you are on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's clear and audible.
No. Yes. Maybe. Wi-Fi. I can hear my voice. Can you hear me, my voice? Just
I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you? There's a problem in Wi-Fi here, I think. So, can you verify that?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Okay.
For me, it is audible and clear.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Sure. Yes. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. どこまでやったっけ? Okay, let me explain about the CNN architecture. Yeah, it's used to it consists of two convolutional layers and max layer, droplet layer, two fully connected layers. And input size is 27 by 26 by 1, and as a hyperparameters, learning rate is set to 1 to the minus 4. The batch size is to 128, and epoch number is to 100. As a parameter of log-mail spectrum, length of Fourier FFT windows is set to 400. Hop size is 600. Number of mail bands is 26.
And the result of CNN model for speech classification are shown in table in the left figure. The accuracy using validation data was 92%, and testing data was 93%. And the confusion matrix for this model using testing data is shown in the right figure. Next, the experimental method and result of processing time are shown. They are described in the following order: evaluation and result. The processing times that are maximum minimum average of 3 models from input to output are measured. Execution environment is Raspberry Pi 3B, and measurement are software only and don't include processing hand movement time. And the result of processing time experiment are shown in table 3. Firstly, the measurement result of speech classification system are shown. The maximum processing time was 0.403 seconds, and the average was 0.056 seconds. Secondly, the measurement result of the SEMG classification system are shown. The maximum processing time was 0.001 seconds, and the average was 7 to the minus 4 seconds. Finally, and the measurements result of the combined system, combined means SEMG and speech classification, are shown. The maximum processing time was 1/87 seconds, and the average was 0.089 seconds. The speech classification model was found to be much slower than the SEMG classification model. The reason for this is thought to be the large size of the speech model and the computational speed of the algorithm that convert it to a spectrum. I will conclude this presentation by discussing my conclusion and future work. In this paper, I evaluate a CNN model for speech classification. In addition, the model and SEMG model were mounted on a Raspberry Pi, and the processing time for each classification and the combined system were measured. The speech classification model was evaluated using test data and showed a high accuracy rate of 93%. In terms of processing time, SEMG shows speedy times at 7 to the minus 4 seconds for average time. However, speech was very time consuming at 0.056 seconds because the large input size and the algorithm used to convert it into a spectrum. As my future work, I need to improve the processing speed, the speech classification model, and the number of classifications for the two models. This is because they need to implement it in these prosthetic hands to make them work more practically. That's all. Thank you for listening.
No, I guess there is no question for you. So thank you for the presentation. So herewith now all the presentations are completed. So we can conclude this session. In total, we have 9 presentations for this session, starting with the bibliometric analysis, which focuses on the math teaching. Then we have discussed about ICT in education. Then we have seen a game computer-based Scrum method, followed by studies on digital distraction and the new recent topic that is metaverse in the education sector as well as in the revitalization of the city. Then we have seen some of the interesting one in the case of how to detect cheating detection system, then some of the students' perception, particularly with a focus on South Korean university students towards STEAM program. And then the final last one is multimodal SCMG and speech-based design and evaluation of a low-cost 3D printed prosthetic hand. So thank you all. I hope all of you have learned many new things during these presentations. And again, thank you all for coming and attending these presentations. And now we are ending with the session. So accordingly, there are again 2 rooms are there, 2 breakout rooms are there. So accordingly, you, as per your interest and your presentations, you can join that. So thank you all for joining. Thanks.